Hi everyone, it's Lydia aka Thoroughly Rigid back at it again with another video. In today's video, I actually want to discuss something pertaining to fulfillment, okay? What does it mean? What do you have to inquire about to reach fulfillment, okay? Because I feel like, and let me get started doing my makeup. Too often people look outside of themselves like, okay, what will fulfill me? And of course you're living a life and there are things that are outside of you and that, you know, are happening around you and happening for you and happening, you know, and there are things going on outside of yourself that make you happy, sad, upset, okay, that evoke emotions within you. And to a certain extent, we choose how we feel, yes, because we choose our mindsets and we choose our thoughts and we choose our perspective on things. We choose to either allow something to upset us or not. And sometimes it's good to allow yourself to be upset about certain things so that you don't allow that thing to happen again and make you upset again, because it's not a good thing. And emotions are indicators of, you know, how you should navigate your life, what you should allow into your life, and what you need to clear out, what is for you and what is not for you. Which brings me to my point, okay? Buzzing on the path, right? Okay, so when we're inquiring about fulfillment, it's usually to do with emotions, how something makes you feel. Now, the objective, obviously, is to be happy and to be content. We want to be in a state of not bliss per se, but not blasé, you know? Like, you don't want to be indifferent towards your life. You want to wake up every day knowing that you're looking forward to something, okay? Whether that is just living out your life purpose or embracing the unknown and the unexpected, because you know something good is going to happen and you don't know what it is. You may encounter something so small, but pleasantly unexpected, you know? I literally had to rewatch the video because I lost my train of thought. Okay. What we want to avoid is, we don't want to be in a state of longing, okay? We don't want to be in a state of longing. We don't want to be on the outside looking in. The whole point of fulfillment is to reach our desires and acquire them and bask in them, you know, live that life that we dream of, you know, be in the middle of the middle, be in the middle of the center of the life that we envision for ourselves in the best way possible. Yes, that is the goal. We don't want to be in a constant state of longing, okay? I mean, you shouldn't want to be, you know, like, and I think people get addicted to the state of longing, being addicted to the state of longing, you know, and being like, oh, like, you know, because you're always looking forward to something. And if you get addicted to the feeling of looking forward to something, then you'll never acquire it. Yeah. In order to reach that level of fulfillment, you have to constantly have clarity on what you truly desire. And you have to know what is meant for you. And I touched on this a previous video. I don't know which one it was. But yeah, I've touched on this briefly, and that's why I wanted to expand on this. It goes hand in hand with the constant state of longing. Because when you're in a constant state of longing, is okay, like, it's like, okay, well, if you keep longing for something, you never obtain it. If you never obtain it, is it truly meant for you? That's one inquiry. And the second half of that is desire what is meant for you and you will always have it. And then on the flip side, if you desire something, then it's already yours. But you have to lock into that mindset in order for it to solidify. Because if you don't believe it, then, you know, resistance and all. And I believe that no matter how much you resist your destiny, like, you know, like there are certain things you can resist your whole life, but it eventually just, you know, like there are certain things that you just, you know, they're just gonna happen. Like, okay, let's say this. You can resist growing up and getting taller, but it's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen regardless of how you feel about it. That's one thing. Let's let's say that. You know, there are certain things that you can resist and you could be upset about, but it's gonna happen anyway. And it's nothing bad, but those things are not anything bad, you know? Like growing up. Okay, you're going to grow up. It doesn't have to be bad. That's where your perspective comes in. Now, fulfillment. Too often people look outside of themselves, and I'm not, again, that's why I prefaced this point with life is outside of you and within you simultaneously. Okay, you can't control that. It's just a fact. Right? You can't, it's impossible to be fulfilled only with what is going on internally. Then you're just in a constant state of detachment because you're not acknowledging your 3D reality. And that can be detrimental to your actual life, because to live life is to engage with your external circumstances and your external environment and people outside of you. That is to live life. You are not living life if you are just in a constant state of introspection, okay? That's not living life. I mean, you need introspection to create your life and to find clarity on what you desire and what you want, which that's going to play a huge part in the main focal point. But you're not living life if you're not engaging with things external of you, outside of you, okay? Now, what I mean by too often people look outside of themselves to figure out what fulfills them is they look to other people, other people's lives, other things, such as ways of being, behavior, personality, objects, material things. They look to all these things that others have that make others happy and think, oh, if I obtain that specific thing, then I'll be happy too. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Okay? Example. You can look to somebody who, let's say they're a corporate boss. Okay? They climbed up the ladder in rankings and now they're at the top. They're at the tip top. Okay, they're not the founder, but they climbed the ladder and now they're at the tippy top that you know you can be when you are in that field or, you know, in corporate. And so you look at them and they're truly fulfilled. I'm not talking about people who are like putting on a facade, you know. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about people who, you know, are doing it for that external validation. I'm talking about people who are passionate about this field and they're like, I'm gonna do everything I can do to innovate it, to you know, to work my way up in the rankings, not for the sake of working my way up in the rankings, you know, but because I know this is a part of my purpose. This is a part of my bigger life purpose. Okay, this is going to fulfill me because it's already fulfilling me. It's not going to fulfill me to be at the top per se, but it's fulfilling me to get there because I know that's where I'm supposed to be. And as long as I'm working towards where I'm supposed to be, I'm already where I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It's a full circle thing. If it's not let me say this, if it's not a full circle, there's an end. And if there's an end, there will be no fulfillment. Because if there's an end, then it goes to the next thing. But the thing about it is, it's always full circle, but there are certain points in the circle, okay? And that's why they say you need to enjoy the journey, not the destination. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. If you are not enjoying the journey to the destination, then you're probably not supposed to go there, okay? You're probably not supposed to go there. It's just like if you're in school, I'm not talking about high school, I'm talking about higher learning, higher education. If you're in university and you are not enjoying the process of getting your degree, meaning taking the classes, learning about the subject that you're getting the degree in, if you're not enjoying the learning process, then you probably shouldn't get that degree in the first place. That probably should not be your major. If you don't enjoy the journey, if you don't enjoy the process, if you don't enjoy learning about that topic, if it's excruciating and it's stressful and it's, oh my God, it's overwhelming, then it's probably not for you. I'm not saying it should be easy. It should be challenging because you're learning. But that's the thing. You should enjoy those challenges. You should enjoy the learning process. And then on top of that, you get to have a degree at the end of, of your, 4, 6, 8 years, whatever. So, right. And then on top of that, you get to work in the field that you're passionate about. It's a full circle moment, but every step of the way, every checkpoint is a reward for a journey well done. And on top of that, you're enjoying the journey. I love learning. Some people never leave university because they love learning about whatever. That's just what they love doing. I love learning about this topic. And that's why some people, they get their master's. Not everybody gets their master's. You don't need your master's to do certain things, but some people get multiple PhDs and multiple degrees because they love learning about the topic. They love expanding on it. And they know that when I'm learning about this, I'm also improving my skill set in my field of choice, in my passion. Okay, let's backtrack a little bit while I do my eyeliner. Okay, so when you look at other people and they're enjoying that field that they're in, know that, excuse me, Mom, one, they had to be challenged to get to where they're at. It was not going to be easy. It's not easy. Excuse me, Mom. They probably, had to take breaks and had to be like, I gotta chill out for a minute. But they knew they couldn't stop because they knew where they were supposed to be, and they knew that they were where they were supposed to be. Okay, and they knew that they were exactly where they were supposed to be because they were heading towards where they were supposed to be. Again, full circle moment. Now, the mistake that others make in comparison when they compare themselves to other people is thinking that they have to take that exact same path. Okay, you look at somebody, they're a boss in corporate. Okay, I'm gonna say it again, and they think, oh, I'm gonna do corporate too. I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna climb the ladder, and they're not supposed to. And in reality, they're supposed to live like a farm life, in the countryside. They're not supposed to be hustling and bustling in the city, and they're miserable. Let's add another layer to that. They reached the top. They reached the top eventually, and now they're in the same position. But they didn't enjoy any of the process, and now they're like, I can finally be happy. Mistake number one, they thought that the destination was going to make them happy and bring them fulfillment. Well, not even the first mistake. The first one was comparing themselves and following somebody else's path, and then thinking that the destination is going to make them happy, and then like so many mistakes and it's okay. Okay, I'm not I'm not saying you can't make mistakes or you can't stray off the path. Some people need to go down the wrong path to get on the right path because the wrong path leads to the right path. And there are multiple paths that lead to the same destination in the same route. Okay, there are different ways to get there. And that applies to everything in life, right? There are different ways to do things. There are different ways to get places. There are different ways to reach fulfillment, okay? Some people need to learn what they don't want and need to experience it in full to figure out and realize what they actually do want. I'm not saying it's the end of the world if you go down the wrong path and you figure out later, hey, I don't fucking want this, actually. It sucks. It's always sucked. I'm not happy. Okay? Trust the process. That is a huge point in whatever process you're going through and however you're getting to where you need to be, whether that is getting on the right path, the right journey, or reaching the destination. Let's see through the illusion. The illusion was you thought you were going to be happy following somebody else's path because that's what made them happy. You see them having all the things that you want, but you mistake the surface of what they have for the core of what you want. Meaning, you see them having respect, abundance, success, fulfillment, okay? And those are the things that you want. Those are the core things that you want. That's what you truly want. But you mistakenly think, oh, I want to be a boss. I want to work my way up in the, work my way up. That's going to make me feel this way. It's not going to make you feel that way. You want to feel that way. That is what you want. You desire to feel that way. You desire those things, but you thought that in order to get them, you have to follow their path. That's not the truth. Okay, that is not the truth. The illusion is I have to do things this way and I have to follow this path in order to obtain this, in order to feel this way. The truth is I want fulfillment. I want success. I want to be happy. I want to be respected. I want abundance. The next step, okay, first of all, you have to see through the illusion, and then you have to come to the truth of the matter, which is those are the core values that you want. That's what you value. You don't value being a boss. You don't value, working your way up in the ladder. No, that's how. You're focused on the how, not the what. Okay? And so now that you know the what, you're like, oh no, I wanted this. Now, how do I get this? And we already know the why is because you're deserving of that. You're deserving of that. The why is always you are deserving of fulfillment and happiness, and you are deserving of that. Now, how? How do you obtain that? How do you feel that? And too often, another mistake is people are like, oh, they're probably not really happy. They're probably stressed out. They're probably this. They're probably that. Your ego is telling, and that is so ego. That is so ego. Your ego is telling you that so that you're like, oh, that's not even real. It's not even possible to be that happy. It's not possible to be that fulfilled. It's not possible. And so what in turn that distracts you from figuring out how you can obtain that as well in your own way. Again, the illusion, oh, that's not possible. It's fake. It's all fake. That's the illusion. That's the lie. Okay. The truth is, for you, it's real, but that's not the way I want to do it. That's not how it'll look for me. It's possible. I can be happy. I can be fulfilled. I can be successful. Excuse me, but I can't do it that way, and that's okay. That's the truth. It is possible. You can be happy. Okay. That is the objective. That is the goal of life, is to be fulfilled, to live a fulfilling life. Okay. But what does that mean to you? How do you get there? Stop thinking, oh, if I do this, if I do that, if I have what they have, if only I had what they had, I'd be happy. It doesn't work like that. Okay? And don't let your ego tell you it's just not possible. Just because something in you knows that that's not the way you're going to get it. Just because that's not the way you're going to get it doesn't mean that it's not possible for you at all. That is the finished look. Okay. Yeah, my point is the whole objective of life is to be fulfilled, okay, in this lifetime. But you got to figure out how to do it for yourself. And you're not going to figure that out by following somebody else's path. Okay? You're going to have to do, even if you have a similar path as them or the same destination even, you're going to have to do things your own way. Okay? You're going to have to do things differently. The best way for you. Just give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below whatever you want to say down there. Subscribe for more. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.